Two Popes from Fernando Mireles.
Yep. Mary Ellis, I think.
Mirel, I don't know.
Yeah, he made City
Something
of
like
God back in the
that.
'90s. That movie's amazing.
Um, ah, that is a really good movie, actually. I didn't see that when I was checking out his filmography. Two popes got John Leo, also known as now as Pope Francis, who gave Siena College a shout out today. So shout out to our guy.
Well, he did.
Yeah, he was. There was some students from Siena College who were attending a mass he was saying or something like that, and he said, "I want to welcome the people, the pilgrims from this area, and
Huh.
also people from the institution of the Franciscan institution from
Yeah,
upstate New York, Siena
got it.
College." And I was like, oh,
Yeah,
Frank, my
very
guy.
Franciscan, Siena College.
Yeah,
It's that's the main focus there, no doubt.
shouted it out. Anthony Hopkins playing Cardinal on the 23rd, December 23rd, I believe. Um, no, maybe a little later. Whatever. Anyways, two popes. Dave, how you feeling about the this tale about these two opposites who kind of find a common ground and come together?
Uh, good, good. I like the movie. Um, cool movie to make because it's about historical figures, but like, there's no record of these conversations. It's all historical fiction. It's all writing. And this I forget the guy's name, but the guy who wrote this movie, he also wrote was Theory of Everything, Darkest Hour, Bohemian Rhapsody as well. Talented guy. Um, having Price and Hopkins just talk for most of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
when there's a good script like that, it's just really good,
Mm-hmm.
And like, kind of having the kind of obvious opposites, as you said, the Benedict and Francis, the conservative wall building side versus
Mm-hmm.
the more open minded bleeding heart side. Having them butt heads, literally, like, it's cool. Um, I think the main sticking point for the movie with people is how they feel about the flashback scenes with Francis, where we learn more about his uh, life during the Dirty War in Argentina. But
Mm-hmm.
everything with Benedict and Francis, I really loved.
Yeah.
And just, Hopkins, I think this is one of his best performances in a long time. Maybe that doesn't say much. He's just kind of behind chasing the bag lately, but he doesn't make Benedict come off as like the more cartoony conservative guy. I think a lot of people, if we've thought of him, and he's never been like a likable figure, whether you're Catholic or not.
Mm-hmm.
But you kind of get the sense that like there's like more going on with Benedict, like that line where he's like, "When I try and be myself, people don't seem to like me very much."
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a bit of soul searching in that line reading.
Yeah.
So I really liked Hopkins in particular, and I know he's definitely in the mix for best supporting actor. And Price was also good as well. He has experience playing religion, of course, with the High Sparrow on Game of Thrones, so didn't require as much range. But no, it's I like it just because like when they're talking and having it to just talking to each other, whether it's combative or not, it's just really I think compelling conversation, especially
Mm-hmm.
like that scene in the Sistine Chapel at the end.
Yeah. No, that I mean that is like the part I like the most is it's like um, the old school versus the new school, debating it out in these really beautiful settings, and especially when Ratzinger finally kind of sees um, his path and makes the decision of what he wants to do, and they're sitting in the Sistine Chapel having this debate, and it's almost like Francis um, or Pope Francis compelling Benedict uh, to not step down, and which is kind
Right.
of funny because it's about these two guys who just both want to quit their jobs basically, and the other one trying to
Yeah.
convince them not to. Which is when you boil it down, it's a funny concept, but I actually didn't have as much of a problem with the Francis stuff. That I understand. I think I can understand the critique of it, and
Mhm.
certainly like the early or the young Jorge Bergoglio stuff it's tough because you see this. I think some of the real evilness and that and some of the real terror that the people in Argentina were going through at that time. I mean, just awful things that happened during the Dirty War. But I actually felt like the way that it kind of set up for Francis finding the path of becoming a priest through confession, and then the way that that's mirrored with him confessing this unknown part of himself, part of himself to the church, to the Pope,
Hmm.
prior to being, the Pope stepping down and being absolved. I felt like that was so massively done and set up and structured throughout the movie that I thought that was actually really effective. But I certainly, I guess, I could see people not liking some of the backstory of Francis for sure. It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it looks really good and stuff. I thought it was okay, but it was fine. But just because it's taking you away from Benedict and Francis talking, which was just much more compelling stuff, you
Hmm.
know. Whereas that backstory ultimately is more Wikipediaing. You know, it's like, yeah, there's controversial past for Francis. Benedict was a Hitler Youth in his early years as well. Like, there's a lot of, you
Hmm.
know, stuff going on
Hmm.
there. People kind of know it now. Uh, but like the conversations and like that really when they're just kind of talking around each other and breaking down each other's metaphors and stuff like that's where the movie shines. And it's, you know, it's really just an acting showcase because it's just, you know, really a true two-hander. And it's kind of funny, like this is kind of one of
Yeah.
those like poster child movies for category fraud because they're co-leads in the movie. Like
Hmm.
Hopkins is not a supporting actor really, he's just the other lead, yet for the purpose of
No.
awards you gotta run
Yep.
him supporting. That's how it works.
Yeah, I guess if you had to pick a one to be supporting, it would be him. But you're right; they are co-leads. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't really have too much more to say about this movie. I thought the Pope's like summer villa was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Definitely
pretty.
very nice, and I think embodies the thing Francis is kind of against, like the wealth of the church,
Mhm.
and I think it does that really effectively. Any other thoughts on Two Popes before we wrap it up?
Um, I guess it kind of skirts the whole like church dropping the ball in a major way on abuse. Like they
Hmm.
kind of mention it and they keep going as if it's just one of many things they disagree on. There's no added weight to it. And given that we're not going off transcripts of the conversations, maybe it would have been cooler to see them go into something like that, you know. But yeah, it's I think it's a compelling movie, and you know, just great acting. So it's I think it's a pretty easy sell if you like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, definitely, and it's on Netflix. So why you wouldn't check it out, I don't really know.